Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. We have a little bit of break in the clouds outside, and I thought I would tackle another room for the update on the indoor plants for April of this year. So we'll just start over here. This gal had seen some better days, but it's got, oops, knocking off the mini blind. We got some nice little pups coming up around the bottom though, and it's looking quite happy. This one got a little dehydrated back in the winter, but it's doing quite well. These guys go by several names. I think partridge plant or something like that is one of the most common ones. This is a little Haworthia truncata that came to me dormant about a year ago. Old leaf. Just making sure this isn't, yeah, it's good. And it just is not wanting to perk up. It's not dying. The roots are happy. But I even had it in complete water culture for a couple of weeks trying to plump up these leaves not too long ago, and it didn't do much. So back into the dirt it went, but I think it'll perk up. It's just taking its own little sweet time. This is a little gasteria, which was tiny when I got it a few years back, and it's growing up a bit. Some more gasteria there. This is just some coleus plants. I've talked about this in other videos, how I use a few of the lesser expensive leafy plants that tend to attract the bugs that I have in my area. And coleus, the mealy bugs that I have, the particular type that seems to bother me the most often, are attracted to the coleus. So that's just a little plant to kind of attract bugs. This is a little an unidentified Ripsalis cutting. It's not doing super great, but it's not too bad either. It's got some new little growth, so we'll see. This lovely wild little arrowhead plant that I can't figure out where it came from. It has just baffled me. I've had it for multiple years, but I'm just not entirely sure where it came from. I don't know if I bought it intending to do something with it and give it away, because I definitely don't remember buying it for myself. But either way, it has stayed here for a few years. And okay, a little watch chain. Crazy little plant. Got some little spider webs on that. Another gasteria. This is a Haworthia aloe hybrid, I believe. They're either called Haworthia something gem, black gem, I don't even know, or an aloe something gem, but it's a hybrid. And another Haworthia, and a little aloe here. And then the only hanging one I have right now is this lovely guy. It's a Crassula rosary vine. And oops, knocking the tag out here. It's time for this guy to come out of its glass globe and go into a pot before it outgrows the globe, and I can't get it out without damaging it. So it came out here, and I'm gonna repot that one up. It was just a tiny little plant about a year or two ago, I guess, that I put in this. I think it's closer to 2 years now that I put it in this little globe, but it was just a couple tiny little sprigs, and it's gone pretty happy. So all right, here we go to the next windowsill. All right, so we're in the kitchen ledge now. This is just a pothos cutting that was off of a plant that was my grandmother's that she got given about 60 years ago. And it almost died, and well, we thought it did die completely. But these guys are quite hardy, and my sister was able to get a couple little cuttings off of it and gave me this one, which was just a tiny, tiny little cutting with like 2 leaves on it for about a year. But now it's got multiple branches, and I'm super excited. Pothos aren't just, you know, one of my loves normally, but this one is quite special because of it being my grandmother's for so long. And it just, I have memories all growing up of this beautiful, beautiful plant that I thought was just ancient at the time, because I couldn't imagine a plant that was, you know, 25 years old when I was little. So anyways, there's the story on that. Little Stapleia. This was a, let me pull this one down maybe. I have, some of these are kind of hard to see because I have things hanging above them, and so I can't, it's a weird angle. But this was two little cuttings about a year ago that I planted that were about this tall, both of them. And so you can see there, this is Stapleia grandiflora, I believe. But it's going to town. No blooms yet, but that's totally fine. It's very, very happy, so I am tickled pink. We got some more Haworthia here. A peanut cactus. Some more Gasteria. A couple little cuttings off of a couple little pothos that I just couldn't bear to toss out, so I'm rooting them. Oops, gotta move these. Some more Haworthias here. Oops. There we go. These are Cooperi truncata variety. Another aloe. I've been trying to get this guy to plump up. You can see the leaves are a little bit thin, and I've been watering it like nobody's business, at least for an aloe. And holy moly, it's taken its sweet time to perk up. Okay, we got a couple. Have to close the dishwasher to get over into this corner. Got a couple little ones hiding out here. Just a little Haworthia, and then this is the little Crassula pyramidalis or quadrangularis. Lovely little wood sorrel blooming away. An aloe. This is an aloe. I think it's golden tooth. Yep. This just got a big water too, because you can see the leaves are a bit thin. They're usually a bit I got all these hanging plants in the way, sorry you guys. But the leaves should be a little bit thicker on this, but that's all right. It's easy to plump them up a little bit. And then here we just have, this was some cuttings, Burrow's tail cuttings that a gal at our local nursery gave me last year at the end of the year. Ooh, and it's very top heavy. There's just this branch. I didn't realize how top heavy that was. And they're stretching out. They're needing some good sun. But they were in such a precarious rooting these burrow tails or donkey's tails. This one's actually a donkey tail, I think. Rooting these guys and getting them in a place where they don't get bumped so that all of the leaves knock off is kind of difficult in my house. We have a pretty tiny house, and there's a lot of plants and pets and a kiddo, etc. So this ended up being the best place that it has been able to sit for the last 8 months or so and just quietly root, even though it has kind of stretched out a little bit. It's not much stretched past what it was. They were already a little bit etiolated, but it's rooting good and finally sending out some new growth. And then these are just some cuttings that are rooting here a little bit. I think, trying to remember what type this is now. Like a rat's tail or, I'm just spacing out on that one. It didn't come labeled. It just, I had some cuttings that were thrown in. And so I'm excited. But they're finally rooting. All right. String of bananas here. String of tears. This one just got a nice haircut. And I'm gonna root some of the branches. This one got a little bit of a trim also. I like them to be really, really thick and then spill over. And some of these just over the winter with how cloudy it was, they just got long, and they were hanging way, way down past the windowsill ledge. And I had already pinned them all up on top and, you know, just kind of taken and done this and pinned it up to the top to get the root mat really nice and thick. And so I didn't really need to do that. So this time I just did a prune. And then this lovely orchid cactus here. You can see all of the new shoots. I don't think this one's gonna bloom for me this year. I had it out in cooler, drier place for a while, but it had a pretty hard year last year and got pretty beat up. And so I think putting its energy into just new growth this year is probably best anyways. So I'm not holding my breath for blooms this year, but it looks like it's recovering nicely anyways. So that's handy. All right, that's it for this window. Onward and upward. Alrighty, I have a crazy fern here that's strung about. This is an east window in our bathroom, and these are the guys that live in here. The fern, we have quite dry air, especially in the winter here. And so the fern likes being in the bathroom with a little bit of steam from the shower, etc. Got a little... All right, this guy looks like it's gonna need to move. I wasn't sure when I poked him into this east window if it would be bright enough for him, but he's stretching up a fair amount, as I can see, and sending up new growths. This is just a lovely little, well, not so little, I guess. I can move the fern. Watch chain, and it's happy, but it's probably gonna move to a southern window since it's stretching out a little bit. And then the African violets like a little bit more moisture. So they're in here, and then another little unidentified epiphyllum here. Got a little new growth. And then that's pretty much it for this room, other than a couple little plants here, just a couple little pothos. And that's it for that room. I apologize for being shaky, you guys. I know this is not the most stable video. Just a couple orchids up here. Got a little hybrid Haworthia, I think Gasteria hybrid. It might be a Gaster Flow. Oops, not sure. Lovely little ZZ plant up. And then this is not really a window, just a nook away from the window. Some more orchids. A begonia my sister brought me a few weeks back. It's just fantastic, and I put it in this lovely bright cobalt blue pot, and I just love it. I used to have quite a few begonias years ago and haven't had any for a while, so I'm kind of excited. This is just a neon pothos that I had that was a tiny little start. Very tiny, about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was in a glass globe, and I took it out and repotted that, and it's going crazy. A little Haworthia truncata that's over here away from the light. It had gotten, you can see the dark color, it had gotten a little bit dark from having too much light. And you have an aloe here. I will do another video on the casualties of this winter. Thankfully, there haven't been very many, but there's one here. Hopefully it's not a whole, hopefully a few of them will perk back to life, but I will definitely do a video on the casualties and what happened and show you guys that. All right, onward and upward. All right, this is not a window. This is my messy piles of some plants that were just getting watered and just aren't in their proper places. This guy has been struggling with bugs, and so he was kind of stretching a little bit, and then the mealies keep getting down in here. I think I finally got him kicked though. We've sprayed them with alcohol several times, and I think they're about good. Got the cuttings on the sponges, got a bunch of leaves here. They're looking really sad, but they actually have some really nice babies on them. So they're actually doing quite well. I just need to pull them out, and I think I'm gonna actually pull them out and put them on a sponge because the sponge is doing so well for all of these others. And there's the, if I can reach it, these are the little, was supposed to be Buddha's temple but ended up not, that got a disease, and the crassula, and so those are rooting. This is a very etiolated pitcher plant, Nepenthes, and a bulb that's on its way out here. I had some beautiful ranunculus bulbs that I have just been enjoying so much, and that one's on its way out. They're pretty short-lived, but they're bulbs, so they can come back next year. Watermelon peperomia that I've been nursing here, trying to get its leaves happy, and it's actually starting to look a bit better. It's only been about a week. So I'm a little bit surprised that some of the new tissue isn't splitting as much, but so far so good. This is a lovely little glass globe that I keep way down in a cute little arrangement, and as you can see, it's time for these guys to come out and to have some new fresh ones poked in and the globe be cleaned. Look how dirty this is. But I don't mind that they get stretched. I just put a bit of graptosedum or something and poke a couple more stems in, and they'll be good to go. These guys are waiting to go back up into the grow tent. They have, some of them weren't in the grow tent yet, and then some of them were treated for mealies. This guy had some mealies. This guy's just ready to go under some lights. This guy was just wanting some more light. This guy, this is a Echeveria chroma, and it's needing more light, obviously, as it's stretching out, but it got too much light, and it got, whoops, it's not focusing, sorry. It got burned in here, which it's now finally growing out a little bit, but I think I'm just gonna have to behead this one because it's never gonna grow out the same, and have some babies to get this guy back into shape. A couple more babies that haven't got potted up from my order the other day. This is some more Nepenthes cuttings that are rooting here. Let's see if we got any. No roots yet. These are some various and sundry little cuttings rooting. Got my burrow's tail up here. A jasmine in the corner there. Some more crassula. I think I could own like 100 of these. I don't know why. I love them so much. Another aloe. Propeller. And then this is, it's kind of hard to see against the window, but this is the string of hearts. It's actually doing really well. It looks a little bit dull on the camera, but it's actually doing really well. I just checked its tubers and it's just bursting. I am so surprised. I really thought I was gonna lose this one. I repotted it last spring. I believe I did a video on it, and it just kind of didn't perk up for a while, and then it got really ignored and almost just completely dried out. And I thought, oh no, it's a goner for sure, but it's doing quite well. I think I'm gonna give this one a haircut too, just because it's so long, and once it gets super long, the bottom stems don't have as thick of leaves, and they just kind of start stretching and looking for more light. So I think this guy's gonna get a haircut too. Alrighty, that's it for this ledge. And I think actually we'll call that good for this video. I think it's gonna be pretty long. And then I'll tackle, I still have 3 other main areas to do. And so we'll probably end up being a four-part tour, but that's all right. Yeah, I think that's it. I will talk to you guys soon. When I'm back with the next video. And until then, happy growing!